Welcome to Printer Strategies. I'm here to introduce Stuart, who is the owner of All Mail and the new owner of this Kornit Storm HD6. He's here doing some prints. Go ahead and run this one off here, Stuart. So these are just some tester shirts that he's doing for marketing. Stuart is new to the printing of t-shirt business, and he's had a number of questions that I think a lot of our customers probably share. So one of them has been, can we print on exposed seams? Well, obviously we can. A big one seems to be about wash-off flow. So Stuart, what is the concern that you've had about wash-off?
The main concern is when compared to screen printing, several clients have expressed some concern about the washout of this process versus the screen printing.
So it's not the first time I've heard that question. So let's go through the actual process. As you can see, there is a fixation that is sprayed on the shirt prior to printing. The way that we spray that down is incredibly important, and it is garment specific. So that is one step that we have to take to get proper curing. The most important part is over in the dryer. And we're going to do some testing on that and show you how to create washout and also how to cure it. That's up next.
Hey, so here's our plan today. We have a whole bunch of shirts that we're going to run. We're going to print them and we're going to wash them several times to see what we like best. As you can see, we have a beautiful diagram here to represent what we're trying to test for and what we're trying to dial in. So we like to think of it as a table. If you have one of the legs not quite the right length, then your cure isn't gonna come out right. So one of those legs is temperature. That's the one we're gonna focus on most today. You see that we have a whole bunch of different temperatures that we're gonna be testing. Fixation, that was another video. We'll link an annotation here. Time, we're leaving it at 12 minutes to give it as much time to cure as possible. And garment, we are only testing two types of garments today. We have a T-styled heavy cotton black, and we have a Gildan regular cotton. What we're focusing on today is at what temperature in the dryer do we seem to get the best cure? And if I was to wager a guess, I'd say that this is going to be very, very undercured. I expect to see much wash off. I'd think that this would be kind of our sweet zone, somewhere in the 305 to 325 area. And then 340, I would think would probably be a little overcooked. We also have a control here at 315 being right in the center, where I think is gonna be probably where we end up. And we have two more 315s, but these ones are going to be printed on a white shirt. They're going to require less fixation. And with all that said and done, let's get to printing. All right, so we have the results of our wash-off test. This is an example of what a garment looks like before it goes into the washer and dryer. As you can see, there are no missing spots where the ink has not attached to the shirt because it's had no chance to be pulled off. But a lot of our customers, ourselves included, have had to wrestle with this. This is wash off. This is what happens when the ink doesn't bind completely to the garment. As you can see, there are several spots where the print is not quite attached correctly, and it looks like there are dots missing all over the image. This will not last a long time. This is not proper curing. But through the results of our test, we can prove that you can cure this properly. For example, just raising the temperature about 20 degrees to 305 makes things cure 80% better. I wouldn't say that this is perfect. There are a couple spots right here. You see how it's kind of coming up there? That is wash off, and that will eventually become a larger spot in the print that is missing. But that's a lot better. It's just not perfect yet. If you can, raising it another 10 degrees to 315 seems to have alleviated it entirely for this garment at this percentage of fixation fluid for this amount of time. For the purposes of this test, we've left everything at 12 minutes, and all of the black prints are at 60% fixation. That's the amount that we found looks best on these. The issue is just keeping it its best. But there's no wash off on this. I think that eventually you might get some, but I think that this would last easily 30, 40 washes before you'd see any of that. If you can raise it even further to 325, as you can see, there's none at all. I think that this is as strong or stronger than screen printing. All of these garments have been washed 4 times and been through the dryer twice. So this is a great example of what things will look like after a couple uses. This garment specifically, these T-style blanks, these can withstand heat a lot better than some of the cheaper blanks that you might see online. As such, at this temperature, 340, you'd normally see a box around the print where the fixation has burned into the shirt. An example being like this. This is a Gildan blank. You can see a square here. That is fixation that has burned on the shirt, and a little bit of it will wash out, but it's going to look like that forever. So every different garment is going to have a different zone that you have to kind of calibrate for. And if you don't get the 4 legs of the table right, the fixation amount, the temperature, the time, and the type of garment, then you will not have the best product. But it's possible, very possible. It's proven here that you can have a shirt that lasts forever. And as one last data point, in our testing, we found that printing white shirts has been much easier, much more flexible. Partially, it's due to the fact that there's no white underlayer. It's able to use the shirt as the white underlayer to show the color on, which allows us to use much less fixation. These are both printed at 15% fixation. But the quality of your garment matters a lot, because certain garments tend to have a burnt marshmallow effect after they come through the dryer, whereas other ones come out looking pristine. And both of these shirts have been washed 4 times. So this is going to look like this forever. It's not going to be a pristine white, but this will. I'm confident in our product, and I believe that we can set you up to also produce results just like ours.
So we're standing here in front of the Wonder Wall at the completion of our wash-off testing. And I just wanted to show a couple of examples here. This garment is a personal garment of mine that was from the show and from 2023. It's my personal shirt, and I've worn it and washed it dozens of times. It's an example of lenticular printing, and there's no wash-off. I've easily worn this 20 times. So clearly, direct-to-garment is capable of fixation very well. So the end result here is that, yes, DTG can wash off, not if done properly. So hopefully this answers some questions for a lot of the customers that we have out there. There's a lot more videos like this coming. If you have other questions about DTG, what it can do for you, give us a shout.